Now, with the rise of social media in the last decade, hostile and abusive, in fact, discourse confronts us on our timelines every day on all those platforms. But what would happen if instead of insulting and attacking and fighting with people that we don't disagree with, we actually listened, shared our ideas, agreed to differ, those types of things? Is that a possibility? I'm joined now by David Quinn, Director of the Iona Institute and columnist with the Sunday Times, and Michael Nugent, Chair of Atheist Ireland, to discuss. Good morning to both of you, gentlemen. You pair, I'll come to you first of all, David. You pair would seem to be diametrically opposed, particularly in your religious beliefs. But I hear not only do you get on fine, even though you agree to differ, but you actually went out for lunch the other day and had the chats.
Yeah, so good morning, Ciara. So myself and Michael have known each other for a number of years, and it's all really thanks to Newstalk. So we'd end up in a programme.
We do like to bring people together, David. I do agree with you.
Exactly. And after the show, we'd say, well, okay, let's go into a coffee shop nearby, and we'd sit down and we'd have a chat, and we'd discover we, get on well. And this would be after some big argument about the future of the Church in Ireland, or does God exist, or the future of religious schools, or whatever kind of things that we typically be brought on the show to have an argument about. So meeting people you disagree with, very important. Going out and having a drink or a coffee or whatever with such a person, very important. Humanises each other in each other's eyes, I think. Social media in particular, and you've experienced this, obviously, Ciara, on social media, the amount of personal abuse on it is absolutely incredible. It's not enough to disagree with you. That's fine, okay, robustly disagree, because it is an argumentative platform, but you have to engage in personal abuse. Do you have to demonise the person you disagree with? Do you have to say, because I disagree with your views, you must be a bad person, completely motivated by bad faith? And this is the kind of thing that's going on. So we almost have a sectarian atmosphere now in Ireland and elsewhere, stoked by social media. So we just kind of get it into our heads. Yes, I can disagree with this person profoundly, but I don't have to believe they're a bad person. I don't have to demonise them. I don't have to abuse them.
Yeah, I have to say that I think we know that in real life, or most of us do, you would hope. But certainly the online lawless world of the internet seems to have forgotten it. Let me bring in Michael. This is a question you don't get asked often when in a follow-up to something David Quinn has said. Do you agree with David?
Yeah, completely agree with that. I mean, I think the internet has damaged public discourse to a great degree, and I think it's largely because social media shares content on the basis of what's the most popular, and it pushes that up your timeline. And typically what's most popular are things that are controversial. So people end up just seeing things that encourage them to respond hostilely to other people. And then the difficulty is that it goes beyond issues. I mean, I strongly believe there's no God. I strongly believe in secular schools. I strongly believe in the right to abortion. But I don't believe that people who disagree with me are bad people. And I don't believe that we should be abusive or insulting to them. Atheist Ireland works with people that we disagree with all the time. We work with the Evangelical Alliance of Ireland and the Ahmadi Muslims of Ireland on secular issues. We go to the United Nations and the OSCE, and we meet and discuss with people who have completely different views to us. And it's quite normal in the real world for people involved in trying to particularly people involved in trying to change society, to discuss things with people that you disagree with. But online there seems to be a trend that you don't just disagree with people. You go straight in with, you're a fascist if you disagree with me.
It's like a McCarthyite era thing. It's not the Reds under the beds, it's the fascists under the floorboards that people are looking for all the time. David, do you find that we are moving into an era where people just want to be in an echo chamber? They just want their own views reflected back at them. And in fact, have we gotten to the point of people believing that people of opposing views shouldn't be even allowed to express them?
Well, I mean, we see, obviously the rise of cancel culture. And cancel culture, by the way, it doesn't have to be a dramatic thing like, we were going to have Ciara Kelly as a speaker, now we're not because we discovered something she said that we don't like, so that particular event is over. No, you don't even get invited in the first place. All right, so it works at that kind of a level. So you end up being denied platforms all over the place because it's assumed you have bad views. We don't want those bad views being spread. You're probably not a good person. It'll be worse for the country if those sort of views, are to be heard in a wider way. And so the echo chambers get, stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
And that is definitely happening. So I just think, I think there's simple rules to follow. I argue robustly. Michael argues robustly. But don't then slip over from that into assuming the very worst of the person.
Yeah, no, I
agreed with. It's not that hard to do.
Fully agree with both of you. Lastly, for you, Michael, we've moved away in Irish society largely from religion, which is, we're moving more into an agnostic or an atheist or a secular society. Not fully there, but we're moving in that direction. But has the vacuum left in the wake of religion created, in your view, new, I suppose, sanctimony, new self-righteousness, new high priests of judgment? Because that's kind of what it looks like to me.
Well, I think there's always within society some people who have an authoritarian approach to whatever it is that they're promoting. And I think then whatever is the dominant ideology within society, whether it used to be religion in Ireland and now it's becoming more secular, that people from within that type of thinking, there will be some people who want to discuss things reasonably with people who disagree with them, and some people who want to close down disagreement. And so I agree. To some extent, today's secular culture wars, for me, having grown up campaigning for liberal ideas when the Catholic Church did dominate Ireland, today's secular culture wars are to some extent echoing the religious intolerance that I grew up with, and I think it's important to be as strongly supportive of religious people's views, to express their views as it was for us to express ours.
Look, it is a pleasure to speak to both of you this morning, being so wise and intelligent on all of this. No doubt you'll get it in the neck for it afterwards. But there you go. Thank you both very much for speaking to us this morning. That is David Quinn, Director of the Iona Institute and columnist with the Sunday Times, and Michael Nugent, Chair of Atheist Ireland. Let us know what you think. Certainly I know I wouldn't go on Twitter anymore, but I certainly know when I was on it, I would agree with both David and Michael. Robust debate is fine. But coming at people with the insults and the "you're a terrible person," what is that all about? 53106 at a cost of 30 cents.